Accept. Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Janetta, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message and meditation today comes from award-winning New Thought author and Unity minister, Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsett, who teaches that we are here to be the light of the world. Her message promotes humanity's innate capability, that's capacities, with which to respond to life circumstances and spiritual maturity. Linda recently retired from 6 years in an executive role at Unity World Headquarters, leading Unity's 24/7 global prayer ministry, Silent Unity. In years prior, Reverend Linda served Unity communities in Omaha, Nebraska, and San Antonio, Texas. You can learn more about Reverend Linda on her website, www.yourdivine.com. And now here's Reverend Linda.
Good morning, friends. Boy, it's a particular delight to celebrate Sunday with you, particularly the final Sunday in the year 2023. Can you believe we're here? Here we are. And I'll tell you what, it's been quite a year for me, and maybe it has for you too, certainly personally, professionally, and even, in our world, what's going on in our world today. Typically, the end of the year messages from ministers are all about setting us up for, in Unity at least, a burning bowl ceremony where we're going to be letting go of what we don't want to take with us into a new year. That's all at the forefront of my awareness too this morning. And yet, the one thing that I want to devote a little time to this morning with you is the pause between what was and what is to come. And my guess is that if we can devote some time to pausing, that it will actually help us, have us be prepared better for what really arises in that pause, what really arises for us. That's the true thing for us to let go of and to anticipate in the coming year. So I want to begin with this writing from, I guess you could say it's a poem even, from Lao Tzu as we begin. Always we hope someone else has the answer. Some other place will be better. Some other time will all turn out This is it. No one else has the answer. No other place will be better. And it has already turned out. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. There is no need to run outside for better seeing, nor to peer from a window. Rather, abide at the center of your being, for the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart and see the way to do is to be. Breathe with me, friends, for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, breathe in. Breathe out, a thorough breath in, out, like let it all out. And then when you breathe in next, get to the height of that inhalation and hold. Just suspend your breath for a few seconds. Not tightly, but gently hold. Drop your shoulders, relax your neck and facial muscles, and exhale. Be still for a moment as you just feel your own breath, the flow of life in and out. Let your hands rest in your lap. Just feel what you sense in your hands. Sense your pulse, your aliveness. At the center of your being, you have the answer, and you know who you are, and you know what you want. Search your heart and see the way to do is to be. And so it is. Well, friends, between times are not popular, right? They indicate that something has passed, maybe a loss, but what is coming is not yet clear. Referencing the 23rd Psalm, it's considered the valley of the shadow of death. Between times can be darned uncomfortable. Maybe you've had some of your own in this past year. But what I've learned, and perhaps you have as well, that the valley is fertile. It deserves our contemplation as we pass through it, as opposed to our dashing through to the other side without a glance at its rich gifts, right? Our modern culture runs on more and faster, with no time or space for stillness. So I just have some thoughts for those between times, which is where we're at the exit of one year and the threshold of the next. And the one thing that tends to be common for us in such times, and it's very typical of the end of the year reverie, which is that we reflect. We reflect. It's a time to notice, to look and see what is fleeting, although it might have seemed permanent, what is real and true and enduring. And a quiet mind is what affords me that ability to notice, to see. You may have done what I've done for so many years of my life, which is to just rush through the holiday preparations and, get to the other side of them and be glad I could just take everything down and get on with life. But wow, what a gift to pause, to reflect, to just examine, what were the juicy riches from this past year, and what were some of the learnings, some of the conclusions that we've come to, some of the conditions of consciousness that, we've had enough of. But it does take some uncovering, some spaciousness, right? Which I hope you're giving yourself that today, especially in advance of your burning bowl ceremony later today, that to use this time to look, deeply look, gently and lovingly see what's important to you. A little scene from a Haruki Murakami book, The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, goes like this. "Why do you like jellyfish so much?" I asked. "Well, I don't know. I guess I think they're cute," she said. "But one thing did occur to me when I was really focused on them. What we see before us is just one tiny part of the world. We get into the habit of thinking this is the world, but that's not true at all. The real world is in a much darker and deeper place than this, and most of it is occupied by jellyfish and things. We just happen to forget all that, don't you agree? 2/3 of the Earth's surface is ocean, and all we can see of it with the naked eye is the surface, the skin. We hardly know anything about what's beneath the skin." So many times I've noticed when I've hesitated to sit with my journal, or I've avoided being still, it's often because I'm hesitating, because I know that at some level in the stillness, I will face my true nature. That old Marianne Williamson quote that it's not our light we're afraid, our darkness we're afraid of, it's our light, right? Well, in some way, that's it. We will get glimpses of our divine identity, and that acknowledgement will require of me the discipline to live as the light of the world. I know I'm going to have to adopt thoughts and behaviors in alignment with my spiritual nature if I look deeply enough and realize that that's what I am. So there's that great paradox. We're afraid we're going to see all of our demons, right? All the things we don't like about ourselves when we look inward. But actually, what we're going to find if we continue to probe is the light that we are. But one thing that reflection does is reveal our contrasts, right? So I had a dear friend, some of you might have encountered him, the late Reverend Sky St. John. He was an iconic minister. I thought of him as a Pied Piper in unity, right? He died actually 10 years ago this month at the age of 65. He would draw crowds wherever he went, and he died under mysterious circumstances. He drowned in Honolulu, his home. And it was only later that I learned that he had relapsed after 30 years of sobriety. This human who was uncommonly compassionate toward others and who moved crowds to tears was privately self-derisive, self-denying, riddled with shame. Mother Teresa, too, was an iconic sister whose work in the world was celebrated. She was so celebrated that she was canonized by the Catholic religion as a saint. But her private journals revealed inner tortures, doubts, and disbelief. And she also widely was criticized for romanticizing people's suffering and doing shady financial deals. I guess what I'm saying is no one is all good or all bad. No one escapes the contrasting characteristics. And so when we look within, when we reflect on our own, we're going to find it all, aren't we? We're afraid we're going to find what we don't like, what we think isn't worthy, but we're also going to find the light that we are. And of course, other people can point us toward that, can't they? But the idea is that if I leave some space, if I open myself to the fullness of what I am, I'm going to see all of that. And I will have a chance to reflect on my own mental, emotional, and behavioral contrasts. And as I do that, I find that the pendulum swings for me between feeling inspiring and feeling irrelevant, between feeling, a sense of body shame and seeing my own beauty, and all of the contrasts of light and darkness, highs and lows, the ascetic and the indulgent that I am, right? My humility and my hubris, my compassion for others and my derision of myself. All these things are part of human experience and the whole panoply of human emotions, thoughts, behaviors. What comes to mind for you when you think about your mental, emotional, behavioral contrasts? What shows up for you just as you think about it now that maybe some of my words have kind of triggered for you a recognition? Your light and your darkness. Please see both. Don't only see the dark. Don't only see, what you would deem the negative in you, but see the light. See the truth of you. Because seeing in that more holistic way is where our power is to make next choices. And note that our failure at times to recognize the light in us, the good in us, it cannot for a moment stop the light from shining, even if we ourselves are not blessed by that light in that moment, But the light is meant for us as well, not just for others. One point I want to make is that this contrast of light and dark isn't exactly fair, right? Because darkness is not negative. Darkness is an incubator. The times of darkness are times of seeds bursting and preparing, right? So I don't see the darkness as a negative. So the great mystic, the Persian mystic Rumi, said this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows violently sweeping your house empty of its furniture. Treat each guest honorably, for it may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I find that particularly encouraging. Do you? And that beyond is not beyond like, from a deity, but a guide from beyond my present knowing, right? A guide from the allness that is, from the infinity of divine intelligence. So this reflection, there's so much to it. And I know for many years it was my tendency to try to do one or the other when I reflected, to only look for the good or to only, probe for that which I'm not satisfied about. But that gentle sort of way of opening myself to all that I am, to all my contrasts, lands me in a state of greater wisdom for being able to choose, what will I have next? So another aspect of pausing is resting, right? Just resting, like not working so hard at everything. And that's different from reflection, right? The rest, being still, opening and being spacious. And there's two aspects of that for me. One is appreciating, because as we know, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life, right? Gratitude, the way I like to think of it is appreciation actually means increasing the value of, right? When our investments appreciate, may they appreciate, right? But appreciation is that, it's the recognition of value, of increasing value. And so to me, this ability to be grateful, to sit in appreciation, is an antidote for those contrasts, right? It's like pressing a reset before beginning again. I can appreciate the value of the awareness that comes to me when I reflect, and I can find the good in it. Some people say that we're in a school and where we had to learn these life lessons. I do not subscribe to that idea personally, because I think it speaks of sort of the old religiosity that says, God is here to punish and reward, and that we've just taken that up in a different way in new thought. So I don't subscribe to that life is a schoolhouse and we're here to learn some lessons. I don't believe that for a minute, but I do believe we are the meaning makers. And it is in the state of appreciation that I derive meaning from my experience. Does this make sense to you? It's in the state of appreciation that I derive meaning from my experience. The next component, or the second component to me of resting, is anticipating. And this is sort of the beautiful state of activating our divine imagination, our third eye, right? Letting there be room, to not have to know what's coming next, but to just stimulate the possibilities, right? To know that there's a next, because there's always been a next, and to sit in that state of just joyfully anticipating what is to come. The unknown really beckons us, doesn't it? And so we can anticipate in the state of rest, just not even very specifically, but more like this open-hearted sense of hopefulness and resiliency. So to me, this is just the quality of the pause. It's a chance to reflect, to and if you're not a writer, if you don't want to sit with a journal, you sit with a loved one, a dear friend, somebody you really trust, that would be for you like a mirror, and you can just speak and share from your heart your awarenesses as this year draws to a close. And as you want to take a look at what's been important to you in this past year, and what will you bring with you into the coming year. And then to rest, to be still, to sit in silence, to appreciate, to anticipate, to breathe into all that's coming. So let's do that right now. Let's take a moment, because what we know is there is no life in the past, and there is no life yet in the future. We know it. Life is now, right now. So quoting, my goodness, a Roman scholar, a philosopher from the year 205, Plotinus or Plotinus, I'm not sure how you might pronounce it, but I pronounce it Plotinus. Listen to this as you close your eyes, as you again center on breath, and as you enter your posture for meditation. Let the soul banish all that disturbs. Let the body that envelops it be still, and all the frettings of the body and all that surrounds it. Let earth and sea and air be still, and heaven itself. And then let the body think of the spirit as streaming, pouring, rushing, and shining into it from all sides while it stands quiet. Let the body think of the spirit as streaming, pouring, rushing, and shining into it from all sides while it stands quiet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Activating your exquisite power of imagination. Envision the spirit, the life, the vitality, the infinity of intelligence, love, order, and wisdom, streaming, pouring, rushing, and shining into all aspects of your being. Noticing that there is no solidity to your body and being. That the false perception of separation is erased in this particular awareness of infinity. Instead of a solid, separate self now, identify, I am infinite life. Overflowing joy. Spiritual strength. Abounding love. And whatever else you need to know, identify yourself as divine. All that spirit is, I am. Be silent together as we dwell in infinity. Become aware again of your body and its position. Ooh, focus on your breath, breathe deeply. Orient yourself now in your physical body without being limited to it, taking with you the knowledge of infinity and your identity that is both human and spiritual. And as we conclude this time of meditation, bring to mind, just ask yourself, is there something from this last 20 minutes? Is there something that's showing up for me to pay attention to going forward? Either something to release or something to take with me into a new year. Is there a gift from this time of pause? And I conclude with this blessing for a new beginning, because this is where we're going, of course. And this is from the beloved Irish poet, John O'Donoghue. In out of the way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling any emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. And though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home to a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. And so it is. Friends, it was a unique delight to be with you this morning. And I just bless all that this year has meant to you, all the gifts of it that are still maybe emerging, all your awareness. And I bless 2024 that for you personally, be a year of prosperity and joy and love abounding. And for the world, peace. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Linda. Thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for watching, and see you next